meaning that which removes the veils, which makes things clear for us to perceive. When those veils are removed for us and we see things clearly how they are, a lot of us are not going to look as we do right now, but we're going to take the form of whatever beasts or angels that we truly are. Something to think about. So can we please, with a loud salawat, welcome the Honorable Sayyid Hassan Mushtaba Rizvi to the Mambar to discuss today. Sallallahu ala Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد. أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. All praise and glory belongs to Allah, the one who has given the biggest blessing to his creation, and that is the blessing of life. Your awareness of self is the biggest blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon you. If you are not aware of yourself, you would not be able to experience, you would not be able to think, you would not be able to enjoy, you would not be able to feel sad, you would not exist, meaning nothing would be applicable to you. Out of this blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon us, He has also connected this awareness of self to His own awareness. Before you become aware of yourself, you're aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The topic that was given to me was falling in love with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The purpose of religion we have discussed as well, and we had 4 hours. Today is the last one. Some of you I saw before and some of you are new. There is a version of Islam that is the version of the Holy Prophets. There's a version of Islam that is the version of Imam Hussain as-salam. The 12 Imams' version of Islam is the same. Their personalities are the same. Awwalana Muhammad, Awsatuna Muhammad, Akhiruna Muhammad. Salawat. Throughout the years, what has happened is that Islam has gotten different versions that we are practicing. And it seems as if each person is a different version of Islam. And in that version of Islam, the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would mean different. Salah would mean different. Fasting would mean different. Hijab would mean different. Your goals and aspirations or success or failures would look different. And this majority of the versions of Islam that are out there, they're all gray. In order to have a gray shade, you need to mix black and white together. The version that the Holy Prophet ﷺ had, it was black and white. A person came up to him and said to him that, I don't have much time. Can you explain to me the whole of your message, all of Islam in one sentence? If you think about it, it is a very difficult task because you have Tawheed, You have Nabuwa, you have Imamat, you have Adl Ilahi, you have Qiyamah, you have the Usul Din, you have the Furu' Din, you have Akhlaq. You have over 6,000 verses that are in the Holy Quran explaining what Islam is. The Holy Prophet said to him that if you were to summarize Islam, it would be in one sentence, and that is to love for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to hate for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the total Islam. If you have love, what it is, for which sake, whose sake are you in love? And if you have hate, for whose sake do you have hate? When these two emotions of love and hate are for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then that is the total Islam. The grave version of Islam that is out there right now, and majority of our youths are actually subscribing to it because it's something that, kind of lets you go through life, do whatever your heart desires, and whatever you want to do, you can put a stamp or label or a cloth of Islam, and then it's okay. And you have to understand, gray is always, the color gray always comes when you mix black and white. There was a Hindu businessman, and he was selling, the example is a little bit, he was selling as a drink in which he had cow urine. So he was selling this as a drink, and the news reporter went up to him and said, do you think your business is going to do well? I mean, look what you're selling. The guy goes, it's going to run. So why is it going to run? He said, because in that, I'm also mixing the vitamins and supplements inside of that drink, so it is going to run. I'm going to make a lot of money. Because on its own, nobody is going to buy that drink. If you don't mix haq and batil together, nobody is going to buy it. The grey version of Islam. The way you will be able to sell it is to have something which is batil, which is darkness, and then put something in there which is the truth. Mix it together and you have grey, people will buy it. And in that type of version of Islam, you can do whatever you can. Like I told you guys, you can do Halloween. Remember that? You can change the Halloween to Halloween and it seems like okay. You can do Valentine. You can have a Shia idol and name it into Shia voice. It'll sell. Have the same thing as American Idol, but give it a name of Shia voice, it'll sell. You can bring the youths by having them, same way as their role models, as everything, the musicians, the sports players, and the movie stars, and you can have all of them and just become that version, just put the label of Islam. It sells. My brothers and sisters, Islam came for true success in this world and for us to avoid the true failure in this world. The projection of it is in the hereafter. But Islam came for this life of yours. Islam did not come for the hereafter. Islam came for this life. Right? So, if you want, I can give you an example. If somebody was to offer me water and say, you can drink water, but it's not going to quench your thirst, It's not going to help your body. But when you die in the grave, I'll give you water and then that will do everything. If that is the case, I would say to the person, why are you giving me right now? If Quran is not going to help you in your practical life, in your emotional life, in your mental life, in your thought processes, in setting up your vision, your goals, if it's not going to help you with your lifestyle, if it's not going to have the solution in every single problem that you are facing or I am facing in this life, then what's the point of bringing the Holy Prophet, 124,000 prophets? Why not give us the deen when we die? We've been given the religion in this world because it is for this life. The brother mentioned that you become the actions. Right? It's not that the actions are outside, you become the actions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a canvas and you can draw yourself and you can make yourself whatever you want. It's up to you and I. The highest level of choice that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to His creation is us. When the veils are lifted, we will see what we made ourselves. Right now, I look like a human being to you, but I might not be. Have you seen people that act like snakes? Yes or no? Have you seen them? They act like snake. All they do is just they try to hurt people. Have you seen people that act like foxes? Or act like mice? The projection, if I have greed to the level where it becomes my habit, my second nature, then what I have made myself to be inside is of an ant. If you look at the animal kingdom, ants are greedy. They will collect. If I like to steal, then the inside that I've made is of a mouse. If I have a lot of anger, then the inside of mine I have made myself to be as a dog. If I cannot control my lowly desires, then the inside of mine is going to be as a swine. If I like to hurt other people, then the inside I make on that white piece of paper that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me is that of a snake. So the practical benefit of Islam, we are not having that in our lives. And to find the practical benefit of Islam, we're looking at other systems that are not going to give you the true benefit or loss. They will give you the true loss, but they will not give you the true benefit. I'll tell you the difference between a kafir and a mu'min. What do you think the difference between a kafir and a mu'min would be? If somebody was to ask you, you will just say, someone who says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, that is a Muslim, and someone who denies that is a kafir. A kafir is not really a hypocrite. A mu'min, it can also be a hypocrite. A mu'min can even be a mushrik. Right? There are verse of the Holy Quran that says that majority of the people who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are mushrik. Kufr means to hide and shukr means to make it apparent. The difference between a mu'min and a kafir is this, that a kafir thinks of means as the end and a mu'min looks as the means as means and end as an end. Is money an end or means? Okay, means. If you make it as your end, what happens? You enter into that state of kufr. Is your education means or an end? Means. If you make it as your end, then you enter into that state of kufr. Is your health means or an end? Means or an end? Your health is means or an end? Means. The only end that there is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything else is just means to another means, to another means, to another means, to another means. And in the end, where it ends up is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is Quran end or means? Huh? Means. If it becomes your end, you enter into that state of kufr. Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, is he means or end? Ji? Ji in Urdu means yes. Is he means or end? Means. Do you see the difference? If you ask Joe Smith or Parvinder or Sukhvinder and you ask him, what is your end? What do you want to be? They will say, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a engineer. To them in this life, what is their goal to be? Is that your engineering degree, your being a doctor, being a lawyer, is it a means or an end? See? Is it a means or an end? Means. If you remember this definition, then the practical aspect of Islam is to decipher so that you can live your life and not get stuck in the means, but go towards the end, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. Hijab, is it a means or an end? Is it a means or an end? I'm asking, looking at brothers and I'm asking about hijab. Is it a means or an end? A mean. Your beard is a means or an end? Means. One of the brothers said, what happened to you? I said, I trimmed my beard. I said, why did you trim your beard? So we like big beards. Some people like smaller beards. To have a beard was not to have it small or to have it big. It was means so that when you look in the mirror and you see a few white hair or facial hair, it reminds you that you're getting closer to that end, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the practical aspect of Islam is for true success and to avoid, which is actually true failure. The biggest blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon us is the blessing of life. And to cherish this blessing and go through life. Okay, who would like to be happy all the time? Yes? Who would like to have a lot of money? Who would like to be famous? Yeah? Who would like to be loved by everybody? Who would like to have 1 million followers on Facebook? Okay, Facebook is old news. Okay, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. All of the things that we are expecting in this life are the wrong expectations. Why? Because the scenes are going to change. One day you're happy, the next day you'll be sad. When you're sad, the next day you'll be happy. One day you are ill, the next day you will be healthy. One day you are poor, the next day you'll be wealthy. One day you don't have education or you don't have knowledge, the next day you'll have knowledge or education. The scenes keep on changing. If you want to hold on to the same scene, it is not going to happen. Right? Like right now, I have a scene. Before that, there was another scene. After this, there's going to be another scene. After that, I'm going to be in the car with my family. There's another scene. I get home, there's another scene. All of these scenes that are changing to have one constant wish or expectation is the wrong thing to do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if you believe in me, I will test you. Who likes tests? Is anybody here who likes tests? No? Exams? Then it's a very difficult life that you're going to have. Why? Because every moment of yours is a test. You think that the university tests are tests? Every single moment of yours is a test. Right now, I am giving a test, you're giving a test. Every single moment. If you understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has brought you here for exams, and you accept that as a test, as you accept it, you embrace it. When the test comes, you're not going to be sad. True? Okay, what's a bigger test between the two? Having cancer or getting money? Winning lottery or getting cancer? Yeah, first of all, lottery is a gamble. Yeah, it's if you read under the sticker, it says gamble responsibly in the ticket. Now, the question and answer will begin a little bit later on. Okay. So when we look at these two things as having money or having cancer, between the two, the hardest exam or test is actually having money. Between the exam of health and illness, the hardest exam is having health. Between happiness or sadness, what would be the harder exam? Happiness. Right? When you start looking at your life as a test, as an exam, and in these tests and exams, the hardest ones are the ones that we are wishing for. All of you said you wanted money. All of you said you wanted health. All of you said you wanted to become famous. All of you said that, 1 million followers on Facebook. These are, if you're thinking those are the things that you want in life, these are the hardest tests, and then you said you don't like tests. The version that the Holy Prophet brought is the version in which the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes everything easy. Whether you get the test of health, whether you get the test of sickness, it makes it easy. Imam Sajjad alayhi would say in Saifa Sajjad, he goes, I don't know when to say thanks to you, when I'm ill or when I'm healthy, because when I'm ill, my sins are forgiven just as the leaves from a tree are fall in the fall. And when I'm healthy, I'm able to submit to you. I have the strength to do that. So I don't know which one of the two I should be saying thank you to you. Imam Hussain has Hazrat Ali Asghar, 6 months baby, in his hands. The arrow has hit his neck. The blood is pouring into his hands. And Hazrat Ali Asghar is trembling like the fish that is outside of the water. He's standing in front of those hundreds of thousands of people that are there only for one purpose. Thousands of people for one purpose, is to have his blood. And he says to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, even this is easy for me. Why? Because I know you're watching. So if you wanted in your life the real ease and the real comfort, make sure that you understand what means are and what end is. If you look at your life and let's say getting the degree is means, if you didn't get the degree, would you be depressed? Wasn't you tried 4 years, you didn't get the degree. Would you be depressed? Would you? Why? It was means. The degree was supposed to be means for you to have some sort of money. If you don't have that, there are the majority of in this world, the ones that are the richest are the ones who probably don't have the traditional degrees. Degree was supposed to be there just as means for you to be able to sustain yourself, and that was again means for you to be able to do the task that you're here for, to go through the exams that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to put you in, so that from those exams you get to that end, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you lost your job, would you be sad? Huh? Why would you be sad? It just means you lost your job, you'll get another one. Where is it that we have to get sad? Where is it that the true sadness is? Is if you lost Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the true sadness. That's the true failure. Imam Ali says that whoever gets Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gotten everything, and the one who loses has lost everything. That's the actual success. If somebody came and started shouting at you or swore at you, would you be sad? Huh? Would you be sad? Why? Why not? Yeah, because if you are sad, you understand that this person has said something to you, has insulted you, because you think of yourself that there is an honor that exists, and that honor is most likely attached to your own ego. And because your ego is hurt now, you're sad. But if you look at it, there is honor if you have honor in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nobody can take that honor from you. Are you honorable in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If you are, nobody can take that away from you. A person comes to Imam Hassan al-Salam, start mazala, swearing, saying bad things about Imam Ali al-Salam, about his family. Imam Hassan listened. After that, he's like, you seem like you're a stranger here. Let me take you to my house and feed you. You see, the superficial things that we are considering to be success and failure, that is getting us down, are actually not the real failures. The actual failure is that if you lose that ability to love Allah. For our youth, okay, so if I was 15 when we got here, it's been over 33 years. I grew up here. I went through high school, I went through university. I grew up here. And as a youth, one of the biggest, there are a few things, but one of the biggest things that we have an issue with is who we are. What is your identity? If I asked you, are you a Canadian? What would you say? You're Lebanese Canadian, Pakistani Canadian. No. Remember the question I asked you. Who are you? Are you a Canadian? Why are you a Canadian? Because an ID says that. I have a passport that says I'm a Canadian. Maybe you can travel around the world. But what is your identity? Is your identity a Canadian? No. So on the day of judgment, there's going to be a lineup. Okay, Canadians this way. All the Canadians this way, all the Americans this way, all the Lebanese this way, all the Pakistanis this way, all the Indians this way. Are we going to be classified by the nationality that was on our passport? We're going to be on the day of judgment judged by what we became as a person, not what our nationality was. It's not going to be judged on the fairness of your skin or the darker your skin or whether you're brown or you're white or you're black. We're not going to be judged on the basis if you were a lawyer or a doctor or engineer. We're not going to be judged whether you were pretty or you were not. All of these things that we're putting emphasis on. Okay. What is this? I'm not waving, just saying. No, I'm not waving. What is this? My hand. This is my hand, right? What is this? No, on top of my head. My hat. This is my kaba. This is my abba. Right? This is not mine. Right? So if you say this is my hand, is this me? This is mine. Is this part of me? The hand is part of my body, not me. Somebody comes, the car outside. I go outside. The car that is there is your car. It's not you. If we think of ourselves as this body, this is our biggest mistake about who we are. You know how I was born in, let me put it this way. This body of mine was manufactured in Pakistan in a city called Jhelum. Okay? I have a car outside. It was manufactured in the Chrysler plant in Brampton. April, I think it was 16th, and I got it on May something. Just as that car was manufactured in Chrysler plant, just like that, your body was manufactured in a particular place. Now, would you say this is your ID? No. When we say Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun, that we are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to Him is our return, do we take our body with us? So your actual identification, actually who you are, will be determined by you, not by the place where your body was manufactured. Not what citizenship that you have. It's your thought process. Today, majority of our youths, their names are Muhammad and Hassan and Fatima and Ali and Zainab, but their thought process is of John Smith and Parvinder and Sukhvinder. Their names are Muslim, but what is inside, how they associate themselves, what they consider to be true success, true failures, is nothing less than whatever the Western ideology is. True success and true failure. Islam was supposed to shape our character. Islam was supposed to give us the true success. Islam was supposed to take us away from the true failure. Islam was supposed to give us that peace of mind and tranquility in which we can go through every single test in that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was going to put us through. We were supposed to become those individuals who would not get the color of whichever place they live in. We were supposed to become those people that if you're in Rome, you don't do what the Romans do. We were supposed to be people whose uswa, role model is Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, the Holy Prophet. Today you ask the youth, who are your role models? They'll be like LeBron James, is somebody, a musician, some other person or as an influencer. This is their role model. They want to become that. What do you love? We would talk about everything, but hardly somebody would say, I love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This way of living your life is making the means as your end, and when you make the means as your end, you enter into the state of kufr. On the day of judgment, when people are raised, they will be actually shown what they are. Do you want to see what you are right now? Ayatollah Bahajat Rahmatullah is one of the great scholars who was the richest in spirituality. He was able to take a look at you and see what your actual shape was, that you would be resurrected or what you would be in barzakh. Falling in love with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was supposed to be the easiest thing. What would be the criteria to fall in love with someone? Yeah, is beauty one? Personality? Inspire you? The brothers as well. I know if I start talking about stuff that is interesting, I'm sure you'll be participating, but I know it's not. Don't worry, this is the worst that's going to happen to you. The next line of speakers coming are very good. So just bear with me. What are your criteria of falling in love? Similarities, character. Somebody write these down. Deen, okay. Say it again because I want to. So beauty is one. Personality is another. What was the other one? Deen, similarity. Someone who inspires you. What did he say? Alt? Oh, height. Wow. I must be very few people can love me then. Only a chosen few. If height is criteria for love. Okay, so let's just work on the 6. Okay? Who has created all of the beauty that you see? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So who is the most beautiful? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you find anything that is beautiful or symmetrical in this world has been created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is also the projection of His name, Jameel. Character. Who is the most merciful? Who is the most forgiving? Who is the most loving? Who is the one most generous? Who is the one who loves you regardless of what you are and what you do, on the basis that you are His creation? I happen to have cash today, so I can give you this example. What's this? A $50 bill. Somebody else wants to say something? A $50 bill, right? You can see it? People from the back who are walking around. Can you see it? Yes? Everybody looking? Yeah? Looking? I could hear your hearts going like that. Why would you take it? No, no. You would still take this, although I crumpled it up and I can stomp on it if I had shoes. You would still take it. Why? Because the value is still $50, right? Yeah. This is what the example I'm giving to you now. Listen carefully. To you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are that $50 bill, even if you're crumpled up. Your value does not change in His eyes. Even if you're that crumpled up, He will still take you. If you've committed guna kabira, if you have done the atrocities, you have done anything in your life, and you're all crumpled up from inside, He will still take you. Because to Him, your value is still there. Just as you would take this $50 bill. So someone who loves you this much, and for a lot of the times for our youth, it's like, oh, I've committed so many sins. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not love me. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still loves you. The value of this $50 did not change even though I crumpled it up. All you have to do is just straighten it up and it's all $50 again. Right? All we have to do is ask for forgiveness, get ourselves corrected, and the value still exists. He's entirely merciful and especially merciful. Can somebody do the translation for Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim? In the name of Allah, our God, in the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most wrong translation. When we translate Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the best translation, because beneficent is the byproduct of mercy. Rahman and Rahim are both from the same roots. And that Rahm is basically, when you want to translate that, when you look at someone and they cannot do something on their own, the feeling that comes in your heart for them is Rahm. The example is, if you see a blind person wanting to cross the road, you know that he cannot cross the road by himself. So that emotion of Rahm will come inside of your heart to help him cross the road. The translation of Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim becomes, I begin in the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the specially merciful. So entirely merciful means this. The value is still there. Specially merciful, we need to do some things to enter into that circle of the special mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So someone who has the character, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has all of those qualities. Beautiful, He has that. Right? Height, is there anyone who is, you can't really compare, but when you say Allahu Akbar, is there anyone who is greater than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? No. If you look at all of the criteria that we have of love, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fits all of that criteria. Right? So you leave Him and you fall in love with this. A piece of paper with someone's picture, and the majority of the tyrants' pictures are on these paper bills. The ones who have taken the lives of innocent people. You know, the one who became part of like stealing and piloting. You know, the natives here, the Canadians, the actual natives, their children buried in the house, in the schools, hundreds and thousands of them. Their generations taken away. And we take that as a value. And we leave Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we really want to get the practical benefit, and I'm told that I only have 5 minutes left to speak to you. If you really want to have the practical benefit in your life and have the tranquility and peace of mind, the love that you need to have inside of your hearts is of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the last 4 hours, we discussed a few things. If there are things that, we'll have a Q&A, so I'm hoping that some of you will open up and ask the questions. But the true success is that if you were to fall in love with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the true failure is if you did not. The rest of the things are all means. The only end is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's it. And the whole of religion is for you to fall in love with Him. Don't give yourself up. Don't sell yourself short. Selling yourself short means that you just get engrossed in all of the means here, and you are content with that, and you let go of the most precious thing. And okay, the 3 minutes that we have. What's the most precious thing in this world? No, what's the most precious, like the most expensive? Diamonds, right? Gold, titanium, rose diamond, emerald, rubies. Okay. So when you think about these things, the reason why they're precious is because they're less to be found. Right? The pebbles outside you, because diamond is a rock, basically, right? So if I pick up the pebble outside and I come and I say to my wife, here you go. Now stones are an expression of love. Giving stone to someone is an expression of love. I love you so much. Why? Because you gave me such a huge stone. All diamond is a stone. What does it do in the cupboard? Nothing. But if I was to pick up that pebble outside and give it to my wife, she's not going to be like, what is this? It's just a pebble. Why? Because there are millions of them. Right? But if I was to bring her something which is less, which is not found, and is very less, it's precious. Right? Now, in this whole universe, there is one thing, one being, that's the only one, and there is no two. By that definition of precious, what is the most precious thing or being in this world? Did you understand the example? Yes? About gold and silver. The reason why gold and silver is precious is because they're less. There's not that many. It's not that much. Right? So what is that one thing and what being that there is no two? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So by that definition, what would be the most precious thing in this universe? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the one who has Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the most precious thing in this universe. And the one who doesn't has nothing. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. The reason today we had, it was the last discussion, and this program is going to go for quite a long time. So just this much, something to think about. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, but please make sure that you check the version of Islam that you have. If the version of Islam that you have has gray, it's not the version that the Holy Prophet brought. It's something that we've made up for ourselves. In this life, your means are means, and your end is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything that you have is only means. Make sure you utilize those means towards that end, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Growing up does not give you a blank check just because you're a youth to do whatever your heart desires. We're all responsible. A young person can die, and so can an old. There is no guarantee for someone that tomorrow you will be alive. So, in your life, when you are looking at your success and failure, think about this. What is the true success and what is the true failure? And don't walk in on gray. Because Sirat al-Mustaqim is not gray, it's white. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring the Imam of our time as soon as possible, and that we be among his friends and followers.